Purple Heart Homes presents Putting the Pieces Back Together, a forum for veterans and the community to connect. Here are your hosts, veterans John Gallina and Brad Borders.
Hey, welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. We are live with you here on this beautiful Thursday at WSIC News Talk Studios.
You know you're not getting any money for saying News Talk Studios, right?
I do know that.
Okay. I wanted to put that out there because you keep saying it.
But you got to do it proper. Justin requires that we do it proper.
Is that why I'm not allowed to say it?
That is exactly why you're not allowed to say it. He said Devin is cut off from doing the introduction.
Is that an official mandate from the radio station?
He didn't use the word fired, but he said that our time and day of the show would change if you continued to do the introduction.
That's
Hey, there's our friend Rocky.
wow.
He's coming to check. He's coming to check and make sure that the introduction is done correctly. He's like the secret agent for Justin. He's watching out. Yeah.
I thought he was just being like a home monitor or something.
No, I can't believe that you would say that about such a fine gentleman.
Well, speaking of fine gentlemen, we have Chris from K-Bar Soap here today.
We have, and you know why he's here?
Because we need another Marine to make the show interesting.
I thought he was bringing soap to clean the crayons off your teeth.
Oh, wow. Throwing shade already in the first, 30 seconds of the show. That's, you're going to get in trouble if you keep doing that.
I've started a petition to block moms of Marines from filing complaints against me.
You're already on probation, John. I think you're pushing the envelope a little too much.
Hey, I'm keeping it clean. We got K-Bar soap we're talking about today, not crayons.
Well, let's get to K-Bar soap before you get yourself in trouble. That's all I'm going to say.
Are you saying bad dad jokes are going to get me in trouble?
Well, I mean, it could happen.
You never know.
Never know.
Let's turn our attention to Chris. I want to hear this amazing story today.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here.
Well, welcome.
What do y'all want to know about soap?
Well, before we get to soap, and don't want to talk about what the Marines drop, but let's first talk about where you're from.
From Clover, South Carolina. Graduated in '98 and went in the Marine Corps in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And what led you to join the Corps?
Wasn't really on the best path in life. At a certain point, needed a change, realized it, and went and signed up and left. Right, just bam, bam. Watched a good friend graduate and saw the difference it made in his life. Went and saw boot camp graduation. Told him he was stupid for joining. Like, why would you do this? And then I went and watched him graduate and saw the positive impact 3 months had in his life and knew I had to do something about mine and joined. So that's really what happened.
Well, I would tell you, it is really amazing and how you hit the nail on the head. 3 months can have such a positive impact and change in a young person's life to be able to really change that path and trajectory.
Absolutely. You need something to snap you out of your norm and removing you from one bad situation. And one could say another bad situation, but if you take the good,
Well, there's both good and bad in the Marine Corps, and that's what really makes it special about really not just the Marine Corps, but any branch. I mean, the good and the bad that comes with that time in service.
Absolutely.
We got a really special guest where we had a pre-call with today, and it was kind of funny. He's another Marine, and he was not too happy with my Marine joke antics.
John might have gotten in trouble with 37th Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Naylor.
I've never been knife hand through the Zoom link. It was like I felt it on my chest coming through the link. It was great. It was really great.
It really was.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Commandant, Chris, is there any particular leaders that you can remember that stick out in your mind that had an impact on your life?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, one that did not make it home from Iraq. You always pick one in the Marine Corps that you emulate. There's always that one person that you strive to be like, and he was my NCO whenever I first made it to the fleet. Showed me the way. He took me under his wing. Had more respect for him than most. And his name was Sergeant Rios whenever he passed. But that's the one. Uniform is always on point in the field. He was an outstanding field Marine. He led by example. He had every quality and that I strived to obtain one day in my Marine Corps career. So I think that's what led to my success, was trying to be like him.
I think it's so important, something you said there about his uniform always being on point, and and then how that translates to field leadership, right? And so, you think about the little things matter, right? And doing the little things, setting the example as a leader matters in future work and leadership, right? When you're actually doing the job, and that's so true. All those that I looked up to in the service really felt the same way, and that's really great. What did you do in the Marine Corps?
I was a 1371, so I was a combat engineer with 1st Marine Division. So I tell people I blew stuff up in shotguns. Like that's pretty much what it is. But mobility, counter mobility, landmine warfare, stuff like that. MICLICs and a lot of big explosions. So. It's fun
that's
stuff.
really
That is
great.
fun stuff.
And how long were you in the service in total?
I did 4 years. So I did 2000 to 2004.
Okay.
Then I had enough and got out.
And I imagine in that time you did a float. Did you do a Met float?
I did not. So we went to Egypt, did Operation Bright Star with the combined arms effects with, it was 100 and some odd countries, I can't remember. And that was right when ultimatum was given. We started bombing Iraq after 9/11. Stuff happened, and then we came back and then went to Iraq. So never did a med float, never did any kind of float because time was spent in Iraq.
Oh yeah.
Outside of that, so
Yeah, that was a particularly interesting time to be in. I was in during the exact same time period. We were just having this conversation earlier today.
Oh, nice. And what was your MOS? What did you do in the service?
I was a 1345.
Okay.
I actually signed up to be a 1371.
I thought a 1345 was what you got written up on when you got in trouble. Not a form 1345? Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah.
page 1345.
Gosh, I hope I don't have one of those. That's
Sounds a lot worse than a
I
page
think I've
11.
got one. I think that's what they called that.
a 1345. Oh my gosh. Oh,
So
wow.
many to remember. So many to remember.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Now, were y'all in the same division while you were in?
we
the same
were
time?
not.
No.
Okay.
But we figured out we were in the same time, just on opposite coasts from discussions earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's really cool.
The Marine Corps is really just a small world
Yeah.
because, I mean, it is the smallest branch of the military. A lot of folks don't realize that because Marines are so vocal. You know, it's how do you know if somebody's a Marine? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Yes. Give them a second, they'll tell you.
I don't think I've ever heard a Marine say that they're the smallest branch.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that's.
But
that's
you've heard
ever
us
been
say
said.
we're the best, though, right? Like, I mean, come on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
They are definitely the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You know, I think the reason moms of Marines have been calling is because they like y'all's uniform so much.
Well, that's true. I mean,
And that's the number one thing you hear from people is like the Marines have the best looking dress uniform.
100%. You can't argue with that.
Oh no, you can't. Can you still fit in your dress uniform, there, Chris?
Funny story. I had to buy an entire new setup because my mom had never seen me wear my blues with my sergeant stripes. So I literally 2 years ago went and bought an entire new setup just so I could fit into it. I was 155 pounds in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
I'm a solid 225, 230 now. So there's no way that blouse is going to be let out, to fit.
Yeah.
I do understand that.
Well, we will be back here in a few moments, and we're going to hear more from Chris about his return and reintegration and how he came to start K-Bar Soap.
You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together on WSIC News Talk Now. So, one of the people in our comments on the Facebook Live, which, by the way, we're up to 19 today. What's going on here?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Hey, call your friends. Tell them to watch us on the Facebook Live.
Why is that so important to you, Devin?
Well, I mean,
It's like you're in some kind of
a big deal.
competition.
well, the sheriff has the record here
Oh,
for
yeah.
live viewers, and
You're trying to overtake the sheriff, take over the sheriff?
well, I'm just saying if you're gonna do something,
I mean, you've been pushing this live on the radio. I've heard the sheriff listens to our show.
well, of course he does.
I mean, while
It's
I
the
might
best
have
show on
moms
this-
and
on this
Marines
station.
coming after me, you might be careful. The sheriff might come after you.
Oh, shenanigans!
Yeah. How about these really cool hats? I mean, I'm not a big hat guy, but
Oh, yeah.
I love this hat.
Yeah,
this is a cool
this
hat.
is a nice hat.
Yeah. Got a little hand grenade on the front of it.
By the way, if you are interested in possessing this hat, you can go to what's the website?
kbarsoapco.com.
kbarsoapco.com.
Possessing your hat or a hat like your hat?
Well, I'll sign this one. And
yes. Okay.
Because I don't know why anybody would want to sign a hat for me, but if you did, you did.
That'll increase its value exponentially.
So tell us, where all is K-Bar Soap Company products located?
So I did a poor job in the beginning of getting into local, smaller retailers. I was able to work out a deal with the local Lowe's department store, so I've actually been carried in Lowe's before, like in Lake Wiley. I didn't have enough bandwidth to outfit every store like some larger companies did, so now I'm going back.
Okay.
Going back to doing the more local places. Just opened a spot in Chester, Lily J's. I got a spot in Clover, Southern Willow. So different little gift shops around small towns in the South, and I've got prospects in Charlotte now. So I'll make my way up here.
Well, you got awesome. Ramon Padilla down in Puerto Rico listening right now. So maybe we need to get some K-Bar soap down there to Ramon. And
we should get them some
distribution point down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Expand the reach.
Also, I noticed that you got two guys from Alaska listening right now. You know anything about DV Radio?
Yes, a little bit. I know those people. They've been a part of me like since I started. They're the people that believed in me since 2016. They've been around and been supporters. So literally,
Scotty,
one of the longest people.
Scotty and the team there, they're great people.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah,
I know you knew them.
Yeah, great partner.
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, this will be rebroadcast on DV Radio.
Really?
Yeah.
So Bo, like the guy that runs most of it, Bo.
Yeah.
We've talked to Bo before.
We have. He's got the farm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's Mike, the DV farm, right?
That's right.
Mike's
DV
off.
farm.
Yep.
Mike's off. Mike's off.
Yep.
On Gallina and Brad Borders at 704-873-1400. It's putting the pieces back together on WSIC.
Welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes, and you are listening to us live here with Chris from K-Bar Soap Company as we are at the studios, the WSIC News Talk Now studios. And I got to say, Devin, as before we go back to Chris here, I'm a little jealous. Brad Borders is apparently listening while he's on his secret mission down in Texas. And in the process, he says you get $18 for closing out the last section of the show. And obviously, I didn't get nothing.
Well, John, it's really about negotiating your contract.
Oh, is that right?
I'm sorry that you didn't do that properly. But
I didn't negotiate my contract correctly. Huh?
You need to talk to your manager. Yeah. I'm not sure who that is, but
okay.
Yeah.
Whose name's on the top of that contract? Okay, so Chris, back to
you. We got things to talk. Soap.
Yes,
so tell us, how did you decide to start a soap company?
Long and short of it is, I've tried a bunch of different things over the years that never really panned out. So I wanted to start. Beer's big. Beer was getting big. I wanted to start a place, in Lake Wiley. Yeah. I realized I wasn't rich enough to do that, so I got a little dejected and said, Googled how to start a business with no money. Start a soap business was sixth on the list, and there was nobody that made an all-natural variant of soap that appealed to, for lack of a better term, like alpha men. It was mostly geared towards the hipsters and everything. So I figured, what kind of shape can I make it to appeal to men to get them to want to use something good for them? Created grenade molds, and then just went from there, and then it just kind of snowballed and came to life.
That's amazing. And now, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2016.
You did just say that, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that was on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. 2016.
Yes,
I actually had been given your soap as a gift previous to hearing about you locally. So you've been doing this, and it's being pretty successful. Where do you think? Where does most of your sales come from?
Man, it's all over. I mean, a huge veteran customer base for sure, and the women that buy for veterans, because it's a good gift option for the man that has everything. Because once you reach a certain point, if you want something, you get it. And you may not realize you actually need a grenade bar soap till you receive one as a gift. So,
Yeah, I
you
gotta
realize
say,
you need it.
They are pretty dang cool.
Yeah, and it's good for your skin. It's the whole thing. Nothing synthetic in it. So that's the whole shtick. Is men are visual in nature. Give them something visually appealing to at least want to have a conversation. Have a conversation about the harmful chemicals in body wash and store-bought soaps, detergent, everything. And then it at least gets them to want to try to use something that's a little bit better for their skin.
And so if somebody wanted to purchase your soap, what would be the easiest way for them to do that?
Online at kbarsoapco.com. And
kbarsoapco.com. Now,
it.
I can't figure out the combination to this little paper, this bag over here. If you were watching on Facebook, you could see me struggle.
Are you saying that
you got it now?
Are you saying that you're not used to using soap, or it's the problem you have fumbling hand grenades? I'm not sure which one you're talking about here.
Oh gosh.
Do you know how to pull the pin?
I disposed of an entire case of hand grenades once.
Did you milk them?
No, I did
He
not.
still has all
milk
his
the hand
fingers.
grenades. Yeah, all my fingers are fine. I was attempting to, and I got yelled at, so we didn't do that. But if y'all want to see what this looks like, you got the grenade right here. Yes. Check it out on Facebook, or just go directly to the website.
You can.
Yeah, that'd
on
be great.
Instagrams and everything. I still answer all the messages there myself. So if you message the business, it's me. You email the company, it's me.
So do you have other veterans that are a part of K-Bar Soap company with you, or that work in the company? How does
It's still just me. I look to expand. I'm still operating, 100% out of my house now. Converted my garage from where I used to work on race cars to it looks like a stainless steel kitchen now. It's a commercial kitchen in my garage, and then my bonus room is my pack out. So I've really, next step is to get out, and then I want to hire veterans. That's my whole goal, is to continue to grow to that point.
that is great. And where's the soap made at? Are you making that in your garage?
I
too?
do. Make it all in the garage.
So you do the molding, the soap mix, all of it, the
Everything.
Packaging.
Yes.
Which I got to say, the packaging is really cool too. By
It
itself.
is.
Yep. I get help from my family to package. My son does. Shout out to him. My wife does it. My wife will package orders if I'm out. So the kiddos help, and then so it's really a family-run business.
I honestly got to say, the packaging is probably one of my favorite parts. I mean, everything reminiscent of the Marine Corps is right there. I actually just military in general. I mean,
So y'all had this conversation a couple weeks ago when I went on the show about a poncho liner and a whoopee. So what is a K-bar? Is it soap, or is it
So
a rifle? What was K-bar? Where does that name come from? It's a knife.
it is knife accessory to a Browning assault rifle.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's
Is that kind of like special to the Marine Corps?
It is a little special.
it is. We always carried a K-bar. Like, that's what we always had. So that was the play on the word of the company, was to drop the A and then just do the K. Bar Soap Company.
Oh, well, we're gonna take a call. We got a caller on the line real quick. We're gonna see who we got calling in here.
Hello, caller. You are listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Why, thank you. And you mentioned the whoopee, because I was going to call and make another joke and say, well, heck, man, after this guy's product, then that whoopee's going to be even more comfy to feel. Right?
That's right.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay. But here's something that we really got to make clear about the whoopee. If it was made by blind people, that is a beautiful thing, because it feels so good, because they go by feel. Their feel is extrasensory. And on the back end of that, it's the blind helping the seeing see. It's the blind leading the seeing, and they made it so that you could weather storms and stuff, and they can't see a thing, but they know what feel is. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, that is beautiful.
That's absolutely true, and it is. I'm sure Chris would tell you, just like any other Marine, they love their poncho liner. Chris,
100%. I bought a couple throughout the years, and I still use them. Like, it's the most comfortable thing. Warm, cold. I don't know.
And the fact that it was made by folks with visual impairment who were able to use their senses to create something so wonderful that helps our servicemen is just makes it even more amazing.
Yeah, thanks so much for calling in and sharing that with us. We really appreciate you listening to the show.
And now if you use this guy's soap, it ought to be a super winner now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Merry
Agreed.
Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
It's really interesting as we bring this conversation of the whoopee back up. So tell me, have you ever actually used your whoopee to line your poncho and wear the poncho and the poncho liner at the same time?
Absolutely not.
Well, there you go. That's why it's not a poncho liner.
But when you're issued it, it's on the line item from the SIF. It is liner, poncho.
So are you saying the military is always right?
No, I'm saying most of the time they're wrong.
Oh, okay, okay. So there again, that proves my point, right?
What we're saying is there's consistency in mislabeling everything by the military.
There you go.
And
that's a better way of putting it.
yeah, just like that K-bar. Nobody carries a Browning assault rifle anymore, but we still got the knife. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. So tell us, what's a good story, a funny story, something that's impacted you as you've went on this journey with K-Bar Soap Company?
I'm learning how to start something from nothing was I don't know if that's funny or not, but that was the most challenging thing, because everybody wants to do something on their own, and you realize it's a little more work to it than it is just going to a 9 to 5, right? There's no time off with it. So I don't know if it's funny, but that's been my challenge with it all, because I've met a lot of great people throughout this thing. It's allowed me to be here. It's allowed me to meet y'all's organization. It's allowed me to meet a lot of other nonprofits that do good things. So I'm thankful for all that. So not a lot of funny with the business. It's been mostly business, just to be honest.
Mostly stressful, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I think that's a challenge anytime you're starting a new business, is the stress in it. And I'm sure that not being able to go and ask your boss for a day off when the orders are coming in that can be rough. But we also see you got all these really cool logos and things. And if y'all haven't seen, we've got a little grenade figure thing, and here's your logo in general's really neat to see. Who designed those for you?
So I had another Marine. So it's Olive Drab Project that designed Boomer. So he's a very artistic kind of cat. And so Boomer is the overall mascot. And then the other logos, gosh almighty, I don't know when that was. The Ditch the Bar, Grab the Grenade one was 2016. So I can't even remember.
But you've got like a what do you call it? The koozie that you
tactical koozie,
tactical
and then
koozie.
Got patches with Boomer on it. Try to do everything to kind of support the
you got
brand.
a beanie, a toboggan or
Boomer beanie.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be an apparel company, but I've got a lot of loyal customers.
I don't know, man. Your apparel's pretty dang cool.
yeah.
If y'all are looking for last-minute Christmas gifts for a guy or even a gal that just enjoys smell good soap, I would say K-Bar. That's a great place to go.
I'm gonna tell you, it really is. I'm very impressed, and like I said, I love having the product there at Purple Heart Homes, and I think maybe every shower we put in for a veteran going forward, we're gonna make sure there's a bar of K-Bar soap in the
I can
in the
definitely
shower.
help with that.
I just realized my mom bought me your beard oil for me last Christmas.
Did she? That looks familiar.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well,
Man,
hey, we're getting ready to go into a break. Chris, we thank you so much for being here. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes on WSIC News Talk Now.
There's more Putting the Pieces Back. John Gallina and Brad Borders on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education.
Well,
So
it's
we're back on.
just me and you.
All right.
Isn't it like the Army to abandon post? What's going on there?
He had enough. He had to get out. He needed a break.
I do need to do a shout out to Leah real quick because we remember when we were walking around giving the tour to you. I
Yes.
promised if she watched us
Yes.
live on Facebook that I would say hello to her.
Absolutely.
So,
27 years in the Army, like that, I don't know. Like,
and then she decided to come to a veterans organization.
yes, she didn't have enough for 27 years.
I guess not, man. Yeah. So that's pretty
amazing.
cool.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I told you that we're regulated by the FCC, but during the break, if if you had a story or something you wanted to tell that was not friendly, you got like just a couple of minutes. But I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you. It's
like Marine Corps funny. I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Well, so hey, did y'all like ever just get in front of the barracks and just like box and beat the crap out of each other? Because was that like a ritual thing for y'all?
It's controlled prison is what I like to call the barracks. Just to be honest, we still had community showers, community toilets. Trying to be PC here. So we never had anything like that until the barracks were built, like new barracks were built. So we were still in Vietnam era boot camp.
I got to say, for those of you who have not experienced it, if you have never looked into another man's eyes as you both had to
drop a deuce,
then you don't know awkward.
No,
it's
you don't. I don't know how clean you want the conversation, but you see things in there that sometimes you just cannot unsee. But but that's the brotherhood, right?
It really is, and
absolutely.
I've heard the term trauma bonding. You're just in these terrible experiences all day, every day, and I think that's why they don't update our facilities and they make everything that we're involved in. So
it is. It's embracing the suck at every level. Right?
Embracing the suck, absolutely,
at every level. So whether you're in garrison, in the field, whatever, that's just what you do. It's part of life.
And it's weird that despite the fact that it was terrible all the time, I still miss it.
I do.
How do you feel?
I miss the people. I miss my guys. Like we try our best to stay in touch. I don't know how many Vietnam cats that I've talked to that didn't keep in touch with anybody because it was a different time, different era, right? And I've always promised myself I'd never be that. And we did a 10-year reunion of us crossing the line of departure in Iraq back in, and hate to say it, it's 2013. We just let the 20-year reunion of us starting the war in Iraq in 2003 go by without having a reunion. So it broke my heart a little bit, right? Because that's a milestone that we're not getting any younger.
No.
I'm 43. Like how many more of these opportunities we have to put all of us together again? And I think all of us are old enough now to where it would be toned down a little bit. That first get together, whenever it was just 10 years after, was a little wild. I'm not gonna lie. Like we.
Well, you haven't seen each other in so long, and you're still a little younger and maybe not quite as wise. And
yes. So I think hopefully 40 was the threshold, maybe, to where we can make better decisions and not just drink the whole time.
Heck, I don't know if that is the magic number or not. I've got a buddy of mine who he did MMA, and at the age of 50, his 50th birthday, he decided to have his last fight.
At 50?
Yeah.
Good for him. That's incredible.
Oh yeah, it was.
It's
pretty interesting there. Is there something going on here, John?
Nah, there's nothing going on.
Okay. You disappeared for.
I'm making sure my disguise is all in order.
Your disguise? Do you need a disguise?
Well, I've been hearing some rumblings, so I'm making sure that I'm incognito today. You never see me in a hat.
That is true. I haven't ever seen you in a hat before. What's that all about?
No. Can't talk about it on the radio.
Oh.
Or Facebook.
Yeah,
just can't talk about it.
I thought Facebook was our safe space.
No, it's definitely not our safe space.
Okay.
But,
glad we know that now.
Give some great feedback here on the show. It's got Troops Hall Jump.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
100.7 WSIC.
All right, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. You are listening to us live. We got special guest Chris here in the studio with us from K-Bar Soap Company. And Chris, we're just thrilled to have you with us. Been telling some great stories and really appreciate you. And Devin, I got to say, man, your listenership is up today for some reason.
Yeah.
It must be Chris. It's definitely not us. It's got to be Chris.
It's definitely Chris. I mean, he's just an amazing guy, and he's running a fantastic company here. And if you have not smelt these soaps, oh my gosh, the Firewatch here is just fan freaking tastic. That's
I'm getting a report that something's wrong with my mic.
something's wrong with your mic.
It sounds like it in my headset too.
Oh,
No?
oh,
Yep.
nope.
All right. We'll keep going. We'll keep working on it.
Keep working on it then. Yeah. Well, I think-
What'd y'all do to my mic while I was gone?
well, if you wouldn't leave, maybe you wouldn't get sabotaged. I'm just saying.
Oh, is that what it is? I see how y'all are. Oh, there you go. Joel's listening. He said the mic's fine. Yep, we can hear you now. So that's great. I'm glad. We don't want people not to be able to hear me making fun of the Marines, especially all those moms out there. Moms that are listening to Marines because they love their uniforms. I just don't understand it. I mean, put an Army soldier in a Marine uniform, he'd be just as good.
Not if they weren't born on an island or in San Diego.
That's
you know
right.
what? I've heard something about Marines and islands. Let me think about this. Oh, that's right. Do you know the difference in the Marines and the Army?
What is that?
We make it look good. I don't.
The Marines take islands. The Army takes continents.
Fair enough. I get it. We weren't there at D-Day, so give us a break. I mean, fair enough. You one claim to fame. It's fine.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
we've covered a lot of ground with you here, Chris, and your service and the company that you've started, K-Bar Soap Company, and where folks can buy the product and how the product's made and all that stuff and the apparel. But tell us, as we start to wind things down with you, tell us a little bit about what your reintegration process was like. What were some of the challenges and struggles you faced?
They did not do much decompression for us since we were like the first wave of combat in Iraq. So it really didn't spend a lot of time trying to reintegrate us into society. We showed back up to Pendleton, and they give us our week off. It was nothing. Our families were there, and we left. We got immediate libo. So not a lot of time was spent making sure that we were mentally okay. So it took years after that of trying to figure out, man, why am I angry all the time? What's going on here? Like, why? And then, got married. Wife was, you got some problems. You need to go talk to somebody. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need that help. It's weakness, blah, blah, blah. But I resisted it for a long time. And then once you realize you have a problem and it's been basically skyline to yourself, you can start working on it. And that really helped me, is just trying to find the positivity in life rather than always focusing on the negative, even though it's easy to go down that path again. But talking to people, went through the VA, went to private people to talk, private psychiatrists, just to get back, some level of working through the trauma and the, part of combat that nobody wants to talk about, right? Is the unseen wounds. But my brothers helped me a lot, met a lot of great people throughout it, and keep in touch with them, and it really helps the day-to-day.
I will say on a very serious note, I absolutely love Marines. And no joke in that whatsoever. We, as Purple Heart Homes, have actually served about 50% of all the veterans we've served have been Marines.
Really?
Yeah.
And they really are the tip of the spear and do such an amazing job. And the combat burden that they've carried over the last 20 plus years is extraordinary for the few that they are, and what has been done in the number of combat cycles and tours that they've went in. And so, hats off to you guys. It's fantastic, and we appreciate you, and we're thankful for y'all's service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is really special being part of such a small fraternity of brothers. You mentioned that you stay in contact with your brothers and from the Marine Corps, and that y'all have reunions and such. What's it like when y'all get back together?
We still think we're 19 years old, and that's just not it. Right? Like, that's definitely not the case, because we want to be who we were back then and party like we want to party and stuff. And then when you realize that, hey, your mind may be there, but your body is not there, so you learn that the hard way. But it's interesting seeing the guys that you started with, and now they have families, they're married, have kids, grown kids now, at this point. So it's I don't know. That's the legacy that we leave, is the relationships that we have. And if our kids meet, then I don't know. That's been one of my goals.
That's absolutely wonderful. Mm-hmm. Now, so what advice would you give to someone who's coming out of the military, whether that's the Marines or the Army or whatever branch, that's just trying to reintegrate into society?
Oh man, that's a lot to unwrap. But just to take chances. Don't always pick the safe route, because the safe route to me it held me up a long time. I spent a lot of my time working for somebody else thinking that that's what I had to do. You know, take risks young while you're still able to bounce back from them. You don't be scared to take a leap and start a business, do whatever it may be. Don't feel like you need to get into the day-to-day rut, because that exacerbates the problems that you have if you're not happy with your situation. So do the best to make yourself happy with your situation.
You know, and I would just add to that, not to insulate yourself away from those that care and are willing to support. In particular, you know, where I found a lot of both inspiration and mentoring was in that older generation, right? That had really, you know, worked through it for many years prior to even myself even deploying. And then coming home and finding those, in particular one Vietnam veteran, Dan Okanowski, you know, has been a huge support as a mentor and just helping us with Purple Heart Homes and grow the organization. And, you know, he come home from Vietnam and, you know, went right into work and spent years and years trying to figure it out and did some great things in life, and then worked for a number of other corporations and then being able to come alongside of us and support us and mentor us and help us to be able to grow and really be able to fulfill a dream to help vets and fill a gap, right? Just be that problem solver that we were taught to be and trained to be, and, you know, employ that leadership skill set that we were taught, you know, in the military. And so it's really fantastic. I think a lot of folks miss that, right, on the employment side.
They do.
Absolutely.
They don't know how to engage or how to talk with veterans. And, you know, really it's not necessarily talking about the combat experiences, right, but it's providing them that safe space that they can ultimately, you know, kind of come out of that shell and start to bring some of that skill set and training to bear in the community.
Yeah,
it's really
and the biggest thing is just remember that not everybody went to boot camp once you get out. You can't treat everybody like they've been to boot camp, like they've been in the service, right? Like they got to deal with some things with you. You're going to have to deal with some things from them.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. And you know, and I'll say too, not all boot camps are created equal either, right?
100%.
They
I fully agree with that.
Yeah. I'm just thankful I didn't have to stand on 2 yellow footprints.
It's still a thing with Marines, whether you're West Coast or Paris Island. I believe to be a real Marine, you got to be born on an island, but then, you know.
But then there's the Hollywood Marine.
There's the Hollywood Marines, and I always want to argue with that.
Did y'all get sunglasses? I was always told y'all were issued sunglasses, and I just want you to go on the record right now.
For Hollywood?
Yeah, for y'all were Hollywood Marines. No. Did you get sunglasses issued to you?
Oh, you're asking the viewers? I'm Paris Island Marine.
Oh, that's right. You were Paris Island Marine.
South Carolina.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the question will go unanswered. Oh, man. We're going to have to.
They did. And they went to baseball games, too. So,
that's true. Yeah.
But they had hills, so whatever.
You know, I'm digging this. I think I have stirred up the Marines long enough that they're now ready to fight each other, and I can just step out of the way.
We'll fight over boot camp. We'll fight over boot camp. Pretty much anything. But.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the Marines. If you leave them long enough, then they'll find something to fight each other about if they can't fight an enemy.
Yes.
So
well, you know, I'm having to start making my way back out. I know we're getting ready to cut to a break, and so I got to go back to my little hiding spot here.
Hiding spot?
Well, you know, there's just something going on that I'm a little nervous about today, and so I've got the costume on, a little incognito here, and just keep it on the down low. Don't let anybody know. But
you know, you're on the radio right now.
Oh, I thought we'd already cut to break.
Hey, you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. We'll be right after this break, or at least I will.
John, I just want to stop by. We've been listening out in the parking lot, and obviously somebody told you something. Yeah, Devin, don't grin too much because I'm not finished with you yet.
Yeah, we got something
to
you.
But listen. Now, John, you've officially offended a large group of people. The Marine Corps Mothers Alliance. So apparently you have been making fun, these Marines' mothers.
I told you it's going to get you in trouble, John. I warned you.
We're going.
It's all your fault.
But now, Devin,
I didn't take your crayons.
we are here to help. We also heard another complaint with you. We're here to help improve your ratings. Because apparently the good, the bad, and the guilty is a hit among Marines.
Yes.
And before we cut, John, I do want to say this. I've heard you about the soap.
Yeah.
Well done job. Well done. But I hope it's got a string or a chain for you where you're going.
Oh my
Just don't
gosh!
drop it.
Oh no!
So can you make bond now, or do we need to go ahead and just start making the phone call?
We'll let you finish the show. I mean, we're negotiable.
Justin, help!
John, don't worry. I talked to Rocky.
I need bail money,
and I think
We do got to keep eyes on you for a little bit.
Okay.
We'll be right here.
Okay.
Just don't try to escape.
And I didn't dress up for you just to let you know.
Oh.
I just happened to have it.
Everybody slide your microphone down one.
Oh.
No, your microphone. Nice.
Oh.
Microphone. Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, gotcha.
See, this is how you got in trouble, not following instructions.
I see now that you had this plan, and this is how my microphone got all messed up.
Well, hey, look, I didn't plan this. I didn't do this. This is not me. You know,
Yeah.
Sheriff received information, Mr. Gallina, just to correct you, sir.
Anonymous.
From a representative of the Marine Corps Mothers Alliance of the United States. And they said they'd had enough of your shenanigans, and so they officially swore out a warrant for your arrest for Sheriff, if you'll read the charge, please, sir. It should be on the middle page there, sir.
I'm looking.
The middle fold there at the top.
We're about to be back.
Marine talking.
We're about to be back.
Okay.
Happy holiday season. WSIC.
Now more Putting the Pieces Back Together with John Gallina and Brad Borders on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. If you were not listening live on Facebook, maybe now's the time for me to announce that this may be my last show. It appears that the Sheriff's Office has showed up to issue a warrant for
listen to me
from a complaint that was filed on me from
the Marine Corps Mothers Alliance for mean talking to Marine Corps veterans.
So,
and not only that, John, I'm gonna tell you. Now,
I knew they were soft.
Hey, listen.
Wow.
And they did
This is
not.
what got you in trouble.
They did not like the island and continent joke.
Oh, they heard that, huh?
Yeah, they heard it.
So-
And what they didn't hear, we told them.
Oh,
Mr. Gallina, let me go ahead and say this, sir.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah,
Mr. Gallina, let me go ahead and say this, sir. You have the right to remain silent.
and I would do it.
well, I was told if you put a string on this bar of soap, the pin might pull when you drop it. So I'm kind of scared.
I wouldn't drop it.
Just don't drop it. Sir, do y'all make powdered soap? Because Mr. Gallina may be more comfortable with that in the detention center.
Maybe able to look into it
Okay,
just for
maybe.
That's a new
the
market.
special cases.
Yeah, it's a new market for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, while I was coming over, we had to round you up, and then we heard Devin. You needed some help with your show stats. So
Well,
we
I mean,
figured we'd come over.
Well, I don't know if it really helps if you're on the show. If I'm trying to beat you, I don't know if that works right. I don't know that 3D
what I'm
math.
most concerned about is the fact that Chap lied to us.
Chap.
Yeah, he said he was on a special mission and he was going south to the border. Now I understand he's fleeing arrest. he is evading.
So we
his
need to get
escape.
extradition. Is that what you're saying? Sheriff, can we contact the Marshal Service and Homeland Security, go ahead and shut that border down?
Yeah, we can lock it down.
Why are you singing like a canary over here? What's
Hey,
going
if I'm
on?
going
Wow.
down, everybody's going down.
John
hadn't
the
heard those-
Snitch Galena. That's all.
Well, here's a wise saying.
Snitches get stitches.
or found in ditches. No.
Oh my gosh.
Too funny.
So, hey, we're honored. We're honored. Well, for one, to find you here because you're a hard man to track down. Devin, come give you a hard time.
Hey, I appreciate it.
And
man.
anytime we can come on with the veterans serving our country, we can't say enough. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
And I wish we could have found some of our Marines today because we got a bunch of them and we got some big ones. They would have loved to come over and take part of that.
I've heard you got some superstar wrestlers too.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're just getting them all.
He actually had a guy the other day he had to arrest. Now, listen, I don't know if the other guy was in service. I don't think so. But
No, sir. But he was
Chad
a
is about
huge human
6'4", WWE wrestler. He actually arrested a guy that's about 5 inches taller than him.
What?
And he pulled.
Yeah,
he had to deploy a
he's
taser.
Ginormous.
This
Really?
individual was able to remove that taser after about 3 deployments and with hardly any reaction. So
Wow.
So
That's a
tell us
tough
a little bit.
man.
You've got quite a few veterans that are on the force with you.
we do.
Tell
we
us
do.
a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had a good spot. For one, in law enforcement, we have a lot of the military, the rank structure, the way the keeping the gig lines looking good, understanding.
Absolutely.
And not only that, you have to go into dangerous situations, and they know they can have to do it at any time. So we wanted to point an emphasis on that. So I really tried to recruit veterans to hire, even with some pay incentives. That we're slowly getting there, and it's a little bit more just because I think if you have an honorable discharge after 4 years, you deserve that little bit because it helps me. They're some of the best employees, and I've got good employees. But coming in, they understand what sergeant, captain, they understand they understand look good, have your weapons ready. They're proficient with weapons. They're proficient with being able to protect themselves and save others. But the biggest thing is respect and the commitment they made. That I know if they made that to the country for everybody, that they're going to make it to the citizens of this county. So that's one reason we've really tried to do that.
One thing that I've said to you multiple times, and I hope that many of those that are in the sheriff's office and are listening. I know the ratings have went up since y'all stepped in the room.
See what I tell you, Devin.
There you go. See,
We hit 22 there.
There it is. Outstanding.
But what I will say is, that piece about respect, it really goes both ways, and this idea of culture and leadership culture, and what has been developed in the Iredell County Sheriff's Office culturally is just like in the military. When you pass by somebody in the military, you give the greeting of the day, right?
Yes.
And in the process, no matter where I see a deputy, no matter where I see any employee of the Iredell County Sheriff's Office, if I speak to them, they respond back in kind and give a greeting. And that is so meaningful. And so often I go to other communities and I can wave, I can speak, I can say hello, and it's 10 and 2, and they're focused on what they're doing and policing.
That is 100%
rather serving
true.
and protecting. And I
Absolutely.
think there's an idea that's different, and that's what I see in y'all's department and unit. And I really appreciate that as a citizen.
Well, and I appreciate, it's something we go down and they'll call me sheriff. I said, Darren. But I appreciate it. Always very rank oriented, very yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. To me, and I can see them. And when you see those gig lines, y'all know what I'm talking about. Looking straight, looking professional.
Yes.
Because a lot of agencies, and I'm not critiquing what they do, but the external vest, the ball hats, I'm not. I'm a Class A. I think you need to have respect for your profession, just like the military. Marines, I'll give y'all everything. Y'all have got it going on when it comes to the dress blues, so I'll give you that.
Yeah,
John, y'all
appreciate that.
take continence, so you can't get on that. But I want to say, John,
we are dirty most of the time.
well, and I want to say, rest his soul, Dale. I remember when you and Dale, I knew him for a long time. I knew you for a long time. You've always been supportive of the sheriff's office. Brad, we have a lot of things sort of, I'm sort of a double edge. I got the guys coming out, and I've got a lot of combat veterans that work with us, and they serve on our tactical team. But then they get involved with a situation. Now you're going from what you've seen there to a little bit of law enforcement training right back into the streets. Yeah. So the service that y'all have always, and just like this, listen to this show, a lot of our guys listen. I don't get a chance to tell you that a lot, but it means a lot to them because we do have so many veterans that work for us.
And Sheriff, if I can, John, and listening to you gentlemen speak prior to arresting John, talk about reintegrating into society. You guys are doing a great service for the military veterans because y'all have tore that old mess off of, boy, just suck it up, don't talk about it.
Absolutely.
The sheriff and I, many years ago, back in the old day, and he'll agree, we had the same thing in law enforcement. Well, guys, that's why law enforcement has divorce. That's why we have suicide. That's why we have alcoholism. That's why we have people dropping out of the profession and retiring and then dying 6, 8 months later. It's not the same, but it is kind of parallel between law enforcement and military and what you see, what you do, what you have to deal with day in and day out. And you guys at Purple Heart Homes and Brad with his ministry and his programs offering to combat veterans and law enforcement and other first responders, doing a great service for the community and the law enforcement community.
And I think Chris summed it up when we were standing in the corner here. Sorry, while we was barging in the door, I should have banged on. But either way, it was absolutely, in our time coming up, it was a sign of weakness if you said anything. You couldn't talk about it.
It is.
Bill and I went to a case, and it's affected a lot. Out of, I think, 5 officers there, it was a murder of a 3 and a 5-year-old, I believe. There's not one officer left that's still there other than us. And we wasn't the initial responder, but have to have those discussions, have these round tables, talk about what we're facing, because it's no longer, you can't just depend on, hey, you're weak if you send them, because they'll never last through their years of service. I mean, they've got 30 years.
30 years is a long time.
One of the things they teach you in the integration stuff, like getting back into society, was like you're safe here. Like for us, so coming back from a combat situation overseas, they're like, well, you're generally safe here. So one of the things I've got a lot of brothers that end up being in law enforcement all the way through, because it's a natural progression from the Marine Corps, right? Shoot guns, know how to handle bad situations, as you said. But I've always wondered how law enforcement deals with that, because that's one of the tools they put in our toolbox, that we're safe here. But they see the bad. So that's where I feel like that would be a struggle for me, you know, to understand that.
That's a great question, and we do have some issues to cope with that. But I think we've really tried to spend. I'll tell you what I think's really helped a lot versus appearing weak is tonight, for example, we're going to do an awards banquet for our family auxiliary and to praise the work that the officers have done and to keep that spousal support group, because a happy deputy means happy wife and happy family. Same thing as a soldier and a Marine and Army. We've got to take care of everything around it, because if they're not happy, nothing else will work.
Absolutely.
Nothing else will work.
All right, we have a caller on the line here. I believe this is my call for help. Let's see, caller.
Bond money?
Is that help or bond?
Caller, are you available? You're listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
So it's me again. Let's just break this down really easy. To be a soldier or a police officer, because I've felt this in my own battles in life, it seems that you have to reconcile living like, or leaning into and solving, living like a walking dead person who's trying to be a working stiff while slowly being murdered. I've worked through all three of those, and I've worked out my reintegration feeling about it, and that is find a way to love it. And if I find a way to love it, I get through anything now.
Wise words. Wise words.
Yep, absolutely. We appreciate you.
Thank you for letting me.
I was thinking you were maybe calling in to give me some bail money.
We should have had somebody from the jail call.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and give you a number out of it. They're going to know you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
You can.
That's all right.
I know some bail bondsmen.
You'll
It'll be
get
all
a
right.
different number once you get processed in.
Oh.
And if you're at the
okay.
jail, I can tell you what you're having for supper
Can I
or
take-
dinner,
can I
whatever.
Take some K-bar soap with me?
Yeah, you better get a string on it first. Hey, and you're going to have tonight, you'll have ham and swirl bread. That's what we do. We do cold at night. So
Ham and swirl bread.
I call
That
it swirl
sounds-
bread. It's just the color of the bread. But you'll like it after being there so long.
Oh, okay.
And commissary.
Actually, doesn't sound too bad.
Well, it looks like
Ham and swirl
we're
bread.
going to have to close out the show here.
On Sunday.
Stay tuned for next week to find out if John Gallina has made bail. We've got a great show coming for you with Jim Lawton, a Vietnam helicopter pilot. So tune in. Putting the pieces back together. We'll see you next week.